Construct a DFA that accepts sets of all strings over 0, 1 of length 2. So we have to construct a DFA that accepts the set of all strings over 0, 1 of length 2. Okay, so let's see how we can do this. But before that, let's see what are our alphabets. Our alphabet sets here is 0 and 1. It's already mentioned here 0, 1. And what will be the sets in our set of string in language? The alphabets are 0, 1 and all the sets of strings over 0, 1 of length 2. Then what are the set of possible strings of length 2 over 0, 1? They are 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, and 1, 1. Okay, so we should construct a DFA that accepts 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, and 1, 1. These are the only 4 inputs that should be accepted by the DFA that we are going to construct. So let's see how we can do this. So to start off, we start with the initial state or the starting state, and let me call it A. A is my initial state or starting state. And how do I indicate it as my starting state? By this arrow, which come from nowhere, pointing to state A. Okay, now we have to mention what happens if A gets input 0 or 1. So here it doesn't matter what is the starting string. It could either be 0 or 1. The only condition is that it should be of length 2. So whether I get input 0 or 1, I send this A to the next state, which I called B. Okay, if A gets the input 0 or 1, it goes to the next state called B. Okay, so at this point, when I reach state B, what is the length of my string? The length of my string is 1. Why? Because I was in state A and I just came to the next state. First state, second state. So I just came here, so I get input either 0 or 1. So the length of my string is 1. At this point in B, okay, so now we have to mention what happens if I get either input 0 or 1 in state B. So I send this B to the next state, which I will call state C. Whether I get input 0 or 1 in state B, I send it into the next state, which I call state C. And at this point, when I reach state C, what is the length of my string? Here, when I came from A to B, the length of my string was 1. And when I go from B to C, the length of my string is 2. Because I already got 2 inputs. So the DFA that we should construct should accept all string of length 2. So if it reaches the length is 2. And that means that should be the final state. So I have to put it a double circle around this C, indicating that this is the final state. Right, so here at this point, the length of my string is 2, and that is the final state or accepting state. But is this DFA complete? No, it's not complete. Why is it not complete? Because I already mentioned what happens if I get 0 or 1 input for A. I've also mentioned the same thing for B. But what about C? C is not complete. I did not mention what happens if I get any input again in C. So what happens whether I get input 0 or 1 in state C? I will send it to another state, which I will call state D. Okay, whether I get input 0 or 1, I send it to the state D. And in this state D, it is also not complete because I did not mention what will happen to state D whether I get 0 or 1. So I give it a self loop to state D, stating that whether I get input 0 or 1, it stays in state D itself. So, what is the meaning of this? So at this point, when in, when I reach in state C, I only get this length of my string as 2. Now, if I get another input, the length of my string becomes 3. And that should not be accepted, so it goes to the state D. Well, in state D, whatever inputs you get in state you get, it stays in state D. And from state D, there is no possibility of coming back to this state C. So, if anything goes out of state C, it stays here and is trapped here, not being able to reach the final state anymore. So any string of length more than 2, it goes to state D. And it is trapped here and it will never be accepted. So this state D here is known as the dead state. Or it is also known as the trap state. Okay, now my DFA is complete. Because I have mentioned for every state what happens when I get the particular input, either 0 or 1. Now I have successfully designed the DFA that accepts sets of all strings over 0, 1 of length 2. I hope it was clear. Thank you.